We're really excited to have with us on the phone Josh Wilson. Josh, it's great to talk with you, and thanks for taking some time to talk with us.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Great. Well, we're really looking forward to have you here in Syracuse on March 11th with Stephen Curtis Chapman and the Afters as part of the Glorious Unfolding Tour. But before we talk specifically about that, for those that may not be familiar with your music, it might be nice to get to know you a little bit better. Where did your passion for music come from? How did your musical journey begin?
Well, I come from a very musical family. My dad plays the guitar, and my mom sings and plays piano. And so, from a very young age, I remember there being music in our house, and I remember there being a love for music. My mom would sit at the piano, and we would all sing together. And when I was in fourth grade, they put me in piano lessons, and then I picked up the guitar and drums in the sixth and seventh grade. And my passion for music grew from there. I realized that playing instruments was something that I loved to do, and I continued on through high school. And then when I got into college, realized that songwriting was a way that I could express myself and use those instruments to tell stories, of things that have happened in my life, things that the journey that I've been on, and things that I can share through music. So it really has been a progression, but I would say it started from a very young age.
Oh, that's so. It's something that's always sort of been with you for for a long time. It seems like. And you have a pretty extensive musical career up to this point. Several albums, a couple of Christmas albums, and some independent early albums early on in your career. As a songwriter, I'm sure you put a lot of yourself into each song that we end up hearing on the radio, on our iPods, and so forth. Is there a specific song that you feel resonates with you in a particular way?
Well, you're right. I do try to pour myself into each one of my songs. My latest album is called Carry Me, and I feel like that album as a whole is a pretty good representation of where I am right now. The title track is a song that talks about my dealings with anxiety and even panic attacks, and me needing um, Jesus to help me through those, and sort of my heart needing to cry out to God, saying, um, I can't do this alone. I need you to carry me through this. And that's the title track, but that theme certainly resonates through the rest of the album. So there's another song called Pushing Back the Dark that talks about taking the light that God has given us, and reflecting that out into the world, into the darkest corners of the world, and lighting up this place, and using what God has given us for good. So I'd say those two songs are pretty representative of where I am right now.
Okay, yeah, and obviously, being a musician, you have the chance to express yourself through your music, and we as listeners sort of get to ride alongside you, and we get to peek into the areas of your life that you reveal to us through your music. And this is sort of a follow up to the previous question, but I'm sure God has had a tangible impact on your life over the years, through the years, and all the different corners of the world that you found yourself into. How has that impact influenced your music, and what you decide to write down and what you decide to put into albums?
Well, it is really encouraging to hear the way that God is using my music when I travel around and people say, God used this song in my life in this way. It reminds me that while, music is a fun thing and an entertaining thing, I feel a great responsibility to be a good steward of these lyrics and melodies, and to try to write things that are helpful. It's always been my goal to write songs that are encouraging, that remind us of the hope that we have in Jesus. Also, to write songs that are challenging, to say, what am I supposed to do as a follower of Christ? What has He called me to do, and how can I respond to this music? So, everywhere I go, every time I hear a story, it's always encouraging for me when I sit down the next time to write, to say, okay, these songs are getting out there, people are hearing them, and responding to them. So, how can I write responsibly with that in mind?
Yeah, since 2008, you've had, I think, six different songs on the Billboard Hot Christian Songs list, with two of them reaching as high as number three on that list. And as you've progressed through your career, I'm sure that's allowed you to have a unique platform from which to be heard in all different corners of the world. What is the main message that you're trying to convey? Is there something that God has put on your heart in particular?
Well, the main message is that we're all created for a purpose, and that's to know and worship God, and we are all purposeless until we find that out. And I think each of us are called to do that in a different way. I think God has different paths for each one of us, but they all point back towards Him, and we're to use our gifts and our talents and our struggles and our life story for His glory. And so for me, that means singing songs and playing concerts. But for someone else, it might mean doing great work as a physician or a lawyer, and whatever that profession may be, glorifying God in the process, and just simply loving others and pointing back towards God. So, I try to convey that our lives do have purpose, and that purpose is tied directly into God.
Yeah, well, that's a really important message, and I think it's a unique way to be able to convey that out to many people on a sort of a grand scale. Well, you've been on the tour as part of the Glorious Unfolding tour for a couple of weeks now. What so far has stood out to you, sharing the stage with the Afters and with Stephen Curtis Chapman?
Well, one thing that stood out is the spirit that's on this tour, on and off the stage. We have 2 buses out, and so there's a lot of people. There's over 20 people on this tour. Everybody has been so gracious, so kind. We've laughed quite a bit. We've had a really fun time, but also very encouraging time. And we've shared our struggles with each other. We've prayed for each other. We have a devotional every night before the concert starts, and we've had some really enriching times that come out of that. Sharing the stage with Stephen Curtis Chapman is really a dream of mine. I grew up listening to him, never once even thinking that I might be standing on a stage next to him. And so there's a few songs that we actually sing together throughout the night, and sometimes I look over and I think, this can't be real, because it's just a really rich thing for me. It's kind of a full circle thing to see a musical hero of mine that I'm playing guitar with and singing with. So that's been a lot of fun. And then, same with the Afters. They're just fantastic guys. I've loved hanging out with them, really getting to know them. And so I really am proud to share the stage with everybody up there and fully support everything that they do.
Well, that's great. We are very excited to have you here, Josh Wilson, together with Stephen Curtis Chapman and the Afters. That's going to be on Tuesday, March 11th, at North Syracuse Baptist Church here in Syracuse, New York. Josh, how can we follow you online? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? What are the different ways that we can keep in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm all of the above. I'm on all the social networks, so you can look for me on Facebook, Twitter. A place to find all of those links is at my website, which is just my name with music added to it. So joshwilsonmusic.com. And from there you can get to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of the appropriate avenues to get a hold of me. But yeah, I would love to hear from folks. I love responding on Twitter and Facebook, and would love to see you guys there.
That sounds great. And we'll also put those links on our webpage too. So as you're listening to this, you can just scroll down a little bit, find those links, and you'll be able to find out more about Josh Wilson and to stay in touch with him. Josh, thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys on March 11th.
All right, thanks a lot.